Carl and Brendan here from Games, Brains, and a Head-Banging Life, gbhblofficial.com for short. It's track by track time, and we're going to City of Evil from Avenged Sevenfold, the third studio album released June 6, 2005 by Warner Records. It is an incredibly successful album. Went on to sell 1,500,000 copies in the US and 2,500,000 worldwide, making it the best-selling album of all of Avenged Sevenfold's discography as of 2020. Many songs in this album has become synonymous with Avenged Sevenfold. But I've never really listened to Avenged Sevenfold album all the way through, ever, before this one.
And may never again.
Oh, I don't think, no idea. I mean, I don't know. I haven't looked at their back catalogue, but surely there can be no other album as long as this in their catalogue.
I don't know. I don't know if it's, I'm the same. I know singles, or I know the odd song here and there. Maybe it was in I don't know, one of the guitar games or something like that, you know. Mm-hmm. But I'd never listened to a full album. And as I'll refer to consistently throughout this track by track, this album's very long.
Oh my God, it gets longer and longer and longer and longer. But we do start off with a popular one, Beast and the Harlot. Now, I love this start. Slightly evil-sounding twang, thumping drums that kick into a thrashy groove. The guitars are golden. The vocals join. The pace is kept hot, but I'm not massive on the singing. That's going to be a bit of a consistent problem across several different tracks throughout here. I'm just more into the guitars and drums, which are kind of blazing here. It's a strong start overall, and for me, an early Avenged Sevenfold headbanger.
Yeah, and I think, you know, I'll have the same issues throughout, because my only thing I've never really always liked about Avenged Sevenfold is the vocals. I sometimes really like them, I sometimes don't, and I don't really know the difference between what it is that causes me to like them or not.
Yeah.
But this one is a good start. It's a really good start. This one, I do know before listening to the album. It's got great guitars, it's nice and speedy, it's got a lot of energy to it, and I don't mind the vocals in this one actually at all. I can kind of live with them. Some nice melody, good chorus. Yeah, I think it's a good way to get the album off.
It is. It literally is a solid start. You can have no complaints. Burn It Down. Keeping it heavy. I actually really like this one. This is awesome. The guitars get me proper excited, and I think the vocals are an improvement here. The Spitfire approach kind of works better for me. They sound less stretched, even with the drawn-out singing parts. There's a lot of energy. It makes me want to bang my head.
Whereas for me, it makes me want to bang their heads. It's the weird thing with his vocals, because, like, you know, we both we have kind of a Marmite relationship with them. You know, at times we love them, at times we hate them.
True.
But we do seem to both be on the opposite side. You know, whereas I quite enjoyed the vocals in The Beast and the Harlot, I really don't like them in the song. I think the song itself sounds very dated. I think it's messy. It has a lot of bits that I like, and this is often a thing with Avenged Sevenfold and a lot of bands. You know, there's some good riffs, there's some great guitar work, there's some great drumming. You know, but just lots of things that I don't really like. You know, there's lots of things that I just feel like it's like you had 10 things and they just went, stick them all together. You know, the solo comes absolutely out of nowhere. There's no like lead up to it. It's just like you listen to something and then all of a sudden you're listening to something else.
Yeah.
You know, I don't understand that. There's like no flow. I kind of wrote down, I just feel like it's a strange collection of different ideas glued together badly.
Complete opposite pretty much in that one. This is one of my favorites. Blinded in Chains. Now, this was an interest to me because it's like modern Avenged Sevenfold, you kind of forget how heavy they can be, or they were. And this is another good example of that. Once again, the guitars and drums do a great job for me. The vocals aren't great here for me. This is one of the ones where I could give it a miss. I actually think like several times I was like, shut up, M Shadows. I want to hear the guitars here. But it's got some incredible winding riffing. And the further it went on, the more I got into it. By the end, I was like, yeah, you know what? That's a banger. Yeah.
Yeah. My lack of foresight here started complaining about the length of the song already, because it was 6.5 minutes long. So I did write down, this is a bloody long song.
Incredible.
And I don't know why, but I in my head, Avenged Sevenfold's style of music was made for the 3 to 5 minute mark. So I didn't expect to see 6.5 minute long songs. I was surprised.
True.
And there's a lot going on. There's an awful lot going on in the song, man. I think there's some really cool stuff. I love the intro solo and the drums. Things do get a bit busy, a bit messy every now and then, and I don't like his kind of quiet spoken vocals. So we agree on that. I wasn't great on the vocals at points.
Yeah.
But it's got a good chorus, it's got a good solo, it's got good guitar lines cropping up here and there. And it's just got it's like another one of those things. It's just like there's so many things thrown at it that occasionally when everything sinks in, I'm like, this is really, really cool. But then a lot of the time it just seems to then descend into chaos and there's no real flow to it. And it's just like they jump from one idea to the next idea to the next idea with no actual kind of flow through the song. So I struggled with it a bit. I must admit.
We've got a lot more tracks to get through here for potentially opposite sides as we hit Bat Country. And for me, fuck me, do I have a problem with the vocals here. On the one hand, they help, deliver what is a catchy number, but the singing parts, I think, are terrible. I think they're just outright bad, especially with the lead into the chorus. It's catchy, but fuck everything else about this track.
Well, my first 2 words on this song were good song. Yeah, I like this song, and again, this was familiar, I guess, beforehand. This is quite a well-known song, isn't it? I like the pace, I like the energy, the drums in particular. I thought were really, really cool. Chorus is fine, a little bit of harmonized vocals in there. I don't mind his vocals in this song. I very rarely think his vocals are awesome. Do you know what I mean? But it's more a case of whether I mind them or not. And in this one, I was like, no, they don't cause me pain. I quite like the sudden switch to melody, the soft singing. I think the solo is fantastic. Yeah, all round good song.
All round bad song in my opinion, but there you go. Thrashed and scattered, back to the screeching riffs and hyper heaviness. This is my jam. And the gruffer snarl to the vocals works so much better to me. Basically, less singing, Shadows, and more just being a bit meatier with your vocals. I like the speed of this track a lot. It's a lot of fun. And I think the guitars are super, super strong here. It can be a little bit messy, but I liked it.
I like the start.
Okay.
I thought it had a really good start. I like the guitars and it's a much more frenetic pace to it all. But musically, while it's really, really fast, he sings quite slow, and I quite like that kind of difference in pace. It works really well. There's lots of good melody, a catchy rhythm. The chorus is pretty good. But then I think probably referring to the same kind of messiest sections that you were mentioning, I just feel like occasionally they seem to chuck in what are some pretty good ideas.
Right.
That they just come out of the blue and they surprise you, but like in a bad way. It's like, you're just getting into something and then it's like, have another idea. And then you try and settle with that. And then it's like, I'll have another idea. And it's like, I haven't finished with the first idea. And I did the last thing I did right on this, I wrote, it feels really, really long as a song when you listen to it, which I guess isn't a good feeling to have when you listen to a song thinking, oh bloody hell, this song is long. And then I remember doing this and I wrote it down as well. And what I did is I was like, oh, it must be nearly over. I checked it and it was less than halfway through, and I was like, fuck me, I'd written all of this and I was only about 3 minutes in.
Yeah.
This
is a common problem with a lot of the songs in this, and what's quite frustrating about Avenged Sevenfold, unlike many other bands, is you might get to like the last minute and think, you know what, I've heard everything this track has to offer. Let me just skip on to the next. With Sevenfold, this album, I never felt like I could, because in that last minute, you could get so much thrown at you. It's kind of what you're saying about ideas. So you're like, well, I have to acknowledge them because otherwise we're going to be doing this track by track. And you're going to go, oh yeah, and that massive solo that went on for 2.5 minutes at the end. And I'm like, what fucking solo? I didn't listen to it.
But it's like, I just, I don't know. We'll carry on. I just kind of feel sometimes, like, I know we talked about it before, and I've seen you ask the question in interviews about, like, who's the guy that tells you to stop? And that's how I felt really up to this point, and it may get worse, but up to this point was like, was there nobody there saying, no, you don't need that extra. No, it's fine. No, don't chuck it. I will just do another minute of. No, you know, who was there to control it?
Where was the quality control, so to speak? Yeah,
Yeah.
you're right. Get what you're saying. The producer or whoever was there saying, guys, you know, that's done. Stop there. That sort of thing.
Because
Yeah.
these songs often they're built like in layers, aren't they? You know, there'll be a song and then they'll put the solo to it, and then they might put a bit more, and then they'll add a bit more, and then someone will go, oh, let's add some, I don't know, some violins, and then someone will go, oh, let's do some back, and it keeps on building. And normally there's somebody who's going to go like, no, it's fine.
You don't need that. Exactly. Okay. Seize the day. This is the worst song on this album for me, if not one of the worst Avenged Sevenfold songs I've ever heard. Forced melodrama that desperately wants to be guns. Like they watched, I don't know, that day they watched November Rain for the first time in their lives, whatever, and went, we want to do a song like that. Painful for me to listen to. I can see why it might have had an appeal to a certain age group, e.g. if you were 15 and emo, or the mindset, but it's so cringeworthy lyrically, vocally, and even the guitars, they're not that strong. I couldn't believe how much I hated this track.
Well, I'm not 15 nor an emo, neither physically nor mentally. But I love this song. I absolutely love it. Probably my second favorite Avenged Sevenfold song that I know out of singles, I guess. I don't know. It's very hard to put that in a category, but yeah, no, I've always liked it. I agree with you. There's an element of, cheese to it, a bit of cringe to it. I do, but I think it's lovely. I think it's a lovely song. I think it's sung really, really well. I think the solos are great. Yeah, don't say it a lot with Avenged Sevenfold, but I adore this track. One I've always had on my music player, and one I'm always happy to listen to.
I don't think we've ever been that opposite on a track, on any track by track.
Avenged Sevenfold are doing to everyone.
Yeah, incredible. All right, Sidewinder. And for me, it was thank fuck for this one. Particularly after coming off to Seize the Day, I needed this. The initial machine gun fire of the guitars and drums, the thumping beat, the intensity as it goes into it. Lots of sharp riffs for me, plenty of chunkiness and more. I like this one.
Yeah, I pointed out, again, naive because I didn't know everything that was coming about, my God, it's 7 minutes long. I kind of felt there was a bit of a video game vibe to the guitars in the intro, which I liked. I just felt it had a kind of video game kind of sound to it. Wasn't a fan of the singing in this one. The sort of disjointed timing, like they were trying to be a bit progressive, bothered me a little bit on this song. And the whole thing, that whole statement there was written down. This was like a real conundrum to me because everything that happened there, what happened within the space of 10 seconds. And I found myself within 10 seconds of being like, I really love this bit, and then I really hate this bit. All equal love and hate within 10 seconds of a song.
Yeah, that's insane.
And again, to me, it just needs stripping back. I think there's just too much going on a lot of the times, too many melodies, too many vocals. And when it settles a bit here and there, it's really good. But those moments are just soon lost in a mishmash of too much. And then I did write down, and I've just checked the time and there are 4 minutes to go.
And the thing is, like, there are 4 more tracks in this album to come. And what you've just said there about mishmash and everything being thrown in, it just gets worse from here. Yeah. It really does. And the first start of that is the wicked end. And to me, it's like, all right, they're taking what's been working for them so far, but then they go in too elaborate here. It's a long one, and it goes for a constantly twisting guitar riff and soloing. But to me, it's too much. It's too show-offy. And I end up sitting there going, do I like this one? I'm not too sure. And the moment it kind of made me fall on the side of, you know what, it's probably not for me, is where it seems like it's got the perfect ending. Disappearing, leading out with some melody. And then they come back in with some big fucking elaborate finish. And I was just like, that's so unnecessary. You had an ending.
Yeah, another 7 minutes plus song, which I've taken to pointing out all the times now. And then, I agree with you. I quite like this song, but I think I like this song better when I looked at it as a whole album, in that I didn't like a lot of what was around it.
Right.
So, if it was a case of like, if you got to listen to the one after this or the one before this or this one, I was like, yeah, I'll listen to this one.
Okay, yeah.
If I had to, which I don't, so I just probably would choose not to listen to any of them, is the truth. But there's a lot of good stuff again. It's the same as a lot of the other songs for me. There's a lot of good stuff. I don't mind the vocals. Lots of cool solos, great drums, very good chorus. Yeah, I mean, it is the typical. It's just everything that I've said so far with this song. It just happens again. It's like, I think you could chop a minute of the extended intro and you could chop 2 minutes of the extended outro and have a fiery little track that's really, really cool. That's 4.5, 5 minutes long. And it just gets killed by the fact that they just seem to, they just don't know when to stop, really. That's really what it is. It's just, we just keep going and we come back for another bit and another bit. And, you know, I think you do that on a song on an album, it's cool. You know, that idea that you sort of fading out with that slightly orchestral thing, and then you come back out of the blue. But by now it was predictable.
Yep.
You know, it was absolutely predictable. When I thought it was 7 minutes long, I already knew this is going to be long, winding, and not unnecessary 7 minutes. That's the thing.
Had it been the outro, the final track in the album, with that melody drop and then coming back for that big finale, it would have made a lot more sense. But it's not. Strength of the world. Even I started to write and acknowledge the length. And I wrote 9 minutes. They are taking the piss. As soon as I saw it, I was dreading it, especially with the overt orchestration at the start. Although I do like the Western twang it has. Very soundtracky for me. Then the kick in the metal groove is decent. It has some chug, but there's nothing particularly exciting about it at all. Here, the vocals really bothered me. Very whiny, very repetitive. And it just dragged. It dragged the whole track. And by the end, I just want it to be over.
Yeah. Obviously, I've been together about saying I pointed out the 9 minute thing. Just wrote that it just seems excessive before the song's even started. You know, again, it's got components I like. Bit of violin in the intro, which is pretty cool. You know, the way that it switches from that into the heavier stuff is cool. The drums are good, the riff's good. I hate the chorus. Absolutely despise the chorus. This is probably not very PC, but what I wrote was what I was feeling at the time. You know, which was that, you know, it's basically something that I think the rest of the band shouts "strength of the world," and then in a voice that seems to be like him trying to do Borat, he does "is on my shoulders," go on my shoulders, and you're like, what are you doing? And then I did write down, I don't know why, but it just sounds like he's literally just finished a bus journey licking windows. Hey, it was what I was feeling at the time. You know, solos are good too. There's a few different phases to it. The now predictable slowdown comes and it's nice enough, but it's predictable. The vocals in that are okay. And I find that I definitely prefer his vocals when they're a bit subdued, but I just don't understand the length. I really don't. I don't hear 9 minutes of good music in this song.
No way.
That's the problem with it. I hear a good 4 or 5 minute song in here. You know, it's like it's buried like layers. Like I have to unpick it and find the good song within the 9 minutes.
Incredible. I know it's just our opinions and all that, but like, how on earth did so many people love this? Like, you know, like it's sold so many and it's their best-selling album as of 2020. What are we missing?
A lot, I think.
Yeah, because we're still not done. We're still not done. We have Betrayed next. And I did need a pick-me-up after this, after the before one. And this track goes some way with a kind of rhythmic headbanger with a bit of interesting groove here and there. It's one where I'm like, I'm pleased it's here, but I'm still not super into it. There's a bit more passion behind the vocals I quite like. And like, if this wasn't surrounded by what it is, I would probably call this an average track. But because it's surrounded by what it is, I was automatically like, all right, I like that one better. Thank God for that. Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't mind this one. I think I'd kind of lost the will to live a little bit with it by now. You know, so I was kind of like, I think I wrote, I like this one. I'm not sure. It's still stretched again, but it's got a lot of nice guitar work, good catchy rhythms, chorus is good, verse have some bite. I think it's a good song. It's much easier to enjoy than a lot of what's come before it. And I think mainly that is because it's also much simpler than a lot of what came before it.
Agreed. Yeah. Yeah, it's just got some groove to it, and that's nice.
Yeah.
Exciting that. But we do wrap up then with the finale of MIA. And well, bloody hell, they really stacked the latter part of this album with long ones. However, this one kind of goes faster. it's a bit more fun. The guitars proper scream and screech, and Shadows is a bit more refined vocally. Although again, there are times where he just doesn't hit for me, especially when he's going high. Like, I know he had vocal issues, and I know he's trying to find a new style. But when he goes high in this song particularly, it really kind of made me go, no, none of that, mate, none of that. I like the harmonizing going on here. However, what really stands out for me is a negative, and it's the solo. This solo in this track is guitar wankery at its highest, to the point where I started to laugh. Because I was like, come on, guys, you're just being idiots now. You're just like, oh, I got to have a solo. Go on, man. Go do your thing. And he was like, oh, I'll just spend ages going, and it's just like, fuck off, man. Yeah.
Well, so this has long been my favorite Avenged Sevenfold song. Out of everything I've ever heard of theirs, this has long been my favorite. I think it's an absolutely fantastic song, and I think it's the only saving grace of the back half of this album. I genuinely do. I think you could have gone from C to D into this and stopped there. You still would have been about an hour long, you know. But and I would have been like, yeah, good album. I think partly because not necessarily, but I like the lyrical content a lot of this song, and I put a lot into lyrical content. The kind of military styled theme, you know, the sadness of war and everything like that. So I like that very, very much. I think it's quite passionate. I think the guitars are great at times. The vocals. And this is the weird thing for me and Avenged Sevenfold, because I think a lot of the song he sings it quite well. I do. I think there are some extremely strange shouts near the end of this song, and I'm very aware they're there. And I even think at the end of it, when it goes into the really sort of slow melody with it ending, he sounds absolutely terrible.
Yeah.
But I don't mind, because I love the song as a package. So I kind of give it a pass. It's like I can deal with it. It doesn't hurt me or bother me, because I love everything that's happening around it. You know, so in that instance, it works. So it's kind of strange, I guess, in it to be like, I really, really love this song, even though I'm aware it doesn't sound great here in parts. But I don't mind that it doesn't sound great, because I love everything that's within the whole package. But yeah, for me, MIA is the best Avenged Sevenfold song I've personally ever listened to of theirs. And I haven't listened to every one of their songs, so I'm not saying that as any kind of real knowledge on the band. You know.
Yeah, I think it's been a difficult listen all the way through, and it's certainly not made me a Avenged Sevenfold fan. But let's see then what your top 3 tracks would be. I think we're going to be quite different here.
For me, MIA, Seize the Day, and probably Beast and the Harlot.
Yeah, we're completely opposite. I don't have either of those 3. I have Burn It Down, Blinded and Chains, and Thrashed and Scattered. Seize the Day, man.
But aside from MIA, we haven't touched that collection of 4 in a row on the back half of this album.
No way. All mine are the first. Yeah, literally, mine are all in the first half of it. And if you didn't have MIA, so are yours.
Yeah.
Yeah, it says a lot, you know. But it is incredibly popular. So it's something we've missed, I think.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Anything else.
Maybe it's a timing thing, you know. Maybe if I'd have listened to this album in full when it came out in that era, and you know, maybe it would have been, I would have felt differently about it.
I wonder if we'd listened to it in that era, it would have felt more unique. Whereas
yeah, quite possibly.
Much.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there you go. Let us know your thoughts of it in the comments. Thank you very much for watching. You can check us out on gbhbl.com, as well as on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Tumblr. Go to Patreon and help us out over there. That's patreon.com/gbhbl, as well as Big Cartel, where you can find some of our merchandise. We have a podcast running on SoundCloud and Apple Podcasts. And of course, if you like this video, do us a favour, hit the subscribe button and help the channel grow. Games, horror and heavy metal, what else is life for?